welcome to another episode of Robert Ochoa's Top 10. Today we're going to go old school, and we're going to look at top 10 movies that should be on DVD. Believe it or not, I have a large collection of movies, and some of those movies are still on VHS. For those of you who don't know what VHS is, it's an ancient technology where movies would come on these large cassette tapes, and you would put them in a VCR. You know what? Forget that. Never mind. Anyways, let's get this started. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. For those of you who didn't know, the Beatles made more than just one movie based off their albums. Of course, the most popular one's The Yellow Submarine, but this is a little known movie right here starring the Bee Gees. That's right, the Bee Gees. It takes music from their album Sgt. Pepper, and the Bee Gees. You know what? It's really hard to explain because I haven't seen this movie in such a long time. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. My mom bought it for me as a gag gift, and now I don't remember what it's about. Really, I don't. I just know the Bee Gees dress up like the characters from Sgt. Pepper, and they just sing songs. I have no idea what's going on here. I think Aerosmith makes an appearance as the bad guys. I'm going to have to watch this again. But anyways, definitely this should come to DVD. Not Blu-ray, DVD. Why? Just so that I can throw this one out and put the new DVD in. Alright, second, we have Return to Frogtown. Now, believe it or not, I've seen Frogtown movies on DVD. I think the first one, Frogtown, and then Hell Comes to Frogtown, which stars Roddy Piper on DVD. But this is a Return to Frogtown, which stars Lou Ferrigno. This is a really bad movie, and I don't know how these Frogtown movies made so many sequels. They are completely terrible movies. But I got this one because this is just one of those movies that are really hard to find on DVD, and I got this for $1 at like a video store. But one of the coolest things that this thing comes with is a preview to another movie, which is not on this list because I don't own it, but I wish I did. Because of the preview of another really bad movie called The Misadventures of the Kung Fu Rascals. If anybody has seen that movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That movie is amazing. It is great, and it needs to come to DVD or Blu-ray or Netflix just because I want to see it again. I haven't seen it since like my sophomore year in high school. But anyways, Return to Frogtown definitely needs to come to DVD. Next up, we have Johnny Socko and His Amazing Flying Robot. Before the Power Rangers, there was Johnny Socko. And this is actually a pretty cool, movie. And this is the third volume. I don't know where the first and second one are. I have them somewhere. But anyways, this is pretty cool. It's about a little boy who controls a giant robot. And there was an anime made in the 90s, I believe, or came out in the 90s under the manga label called Giant Robo. Well, that anime is actually based off of this. It's actually pretty cool. Some giant robot fighting against giant monsters, and all the giant monsters look crappy. The giant robot looks cool. He looks like this bizarre, well, if you could see, he looks like this kind of Egyptian type robot. Very similar to like Ultraman and Jet Jaguar and all that kind of good stuff. Way before the Power Rangers. So this is actually pretty cool, and I would like to see this collection on DVD. Not so much Blu-ray, because I don't think there's a market for giant robots on Blu-ray, but if it came out to DVD, I think that would be cool. There's still enough time to put movies on DVD that are not on there. Next up, this is a great movie right here. All-time favorite. When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. Now this movie is, I think, an Italian film that was brought over to America like in the late 70s. This is really awesome. I mean, stop motion animation dinosaurs. If you ever seen 1 Million Years BC by the Hammer Productions, it's kind of like that. It's about a bunch of big-breasted women in tight little outfits running away from cavemen and fighting dinosaurs. That's all there is to it. The dialogue is really bad because there is dialogue, but they're speaking in caveman language, so it's not like you can understand them when they do speak. There's a lot of weird words thrown out here and there, but you got to give it up for the dinosaurs. There's a lot of dinosaurs, and I think one of the funniest things is that the girl actually befriends like a little baby dinosaur who then introduces her to the mama dinosaur, and then the mama dinosaur is like taking care of the girl. What can I say? I mean, this was the 70s we were talking about. But anyways, this is a really cool movie. Definitely needs to come to DVD. Definitely needs to come to Blu-ray if it, can. I don't know. If it's not on DVD, it's definitely not going to be on Blu-ray. But this movie right here needs to come to something other than VHS. Very hard movie to find, by the way. Next up, we have a blast from the past for all you anime freaks out there. It is Lensman. Now, for those of you who don't know, there was a time when anime movies were really hard to get a hold of. And that's right, really hard to get a hold of. In fact, you would have to go to several video rental stores before you could actually find a really good anime to watch. And this right here is one of those animes that is really cool. It's kind of weird because it's not serious like some animes are. It's not like Akira. It's not like Steam Boy, which are real serious and dramatic. This anime is a mixture of both, like, I would say like a child's film and maybe a real serious drama. You got some serious things going on, but you got some goofy characters and you got some silly things that happen throughout the movie. And even though everybody's lives are in danger or being killed, nothing too serious happens where you're like, oh man, that sucks. Actually, I would kind of put this in a Disney category because that's where it kind of fits into. It's a fun movie that I think anybody could watch. In fact, when I used to work for an after-school program and they had movie days, I showed this movie a couple of times and the kids really seemed to enjoy it. This was a movie, though, that was mixed with regular 2D animation and then some 3D animation, too. And you can tell the 3D animation is really bad because it's just like weird geometrical shapes, like going around, flying, trying to shoot things. But this movie is definitely cool. It's an adventure movie. It's about that hero who, the unexpected hero. It's about a young kid who becomes a hero, who gathers up a group of his friends and meets people along the way that are going to help him. And he has the lens power and he has to, destroy this evil bad guy. And the evil bad guy has like a bunch of minions that work under him. This is a really cool movie. Definitely needs to come out on DVD. I'm pretty sure it is on DVD somewhere in Japan, but it hasn't come over here to the United States, and I think it really needs to, because this is like an anime gem. Like I said, this came out in the days when anime videos were hard to find, when they were just first coming over here. They weren't big on the market, they weren't popular, and this was for like serious collectors. So definitely needs to come out in some form of digital entertainment. Next we have Green Jelly, Serial Killer. Now, for those of you who really don't know, Green Jelly was a video band at first. They made music videos, and then they put out their album. Usually, they put out their album and then make music videos, but these guys did it the opposite. But this is just the videos, the collection of videos by Green Jelly. It's not exactly the movie. There was a movie that came out called Serial Killer, and it was like this whole weird story, and it had some of these videos in it, but it was actually a movie. This, I said, is just a collection of their videos. Green Jelly is probably one of my favorite bands of all time. You really have to look them up. One of the videos you should look up is The Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly. You can see it on YouTube, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're goofy, they're entertaining, they're fun. They get a lot of their inspiration from a band called War, and anybody who knows that band will understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, I would like to see these guys make a comeback. I don't know. Their music was like incredibly silly. I want them to come back. Please, Green Jelly, if you can hear me, come back. You guys need to come back, especially on digital form. So, next we have a movie here that is actually on DVD, but I feel like it shouldn't be in a collection of DVDs. It should be on its own, and that is Within the Rock. This movie was awesome. This was a Saturday sci-fi special that I saw that I fell in love with. I mean, it's really cool. And the story is that there's an asteroid heading towards Earth, so they send a group of people to go on it and blow it up. But while they're digging it, they discover that it's an asteroid that was once a prison, and inside is this unstoppable killing monster. And they let it out, and then it just decides to kill the entire crew. So, very cool movie. I mean, the special effects are done. There's this real creepy atmosphere, especially because they're like on a rocket in a spaceship, and they're really, really like trying to figure out what's going on. It's kind of like a low budget thing, especially John Carpenter's a thing where everybody's kind of paranoid because they think someone's a killer, but they don't know that it's actually a monster. And when they do discover it's a monster, it's pretty pretty crazy when he comes out. I mean, the special effects look amazing, and the monster looks really cool, and there's violent death scenes. And like I said, I've seen it on a collection of movies, but I think this movie is pretty good, where it stands out by itself, and it really should just be on its own, and maybe throw in a couple of special features. And if it is out there by itself on DVD, then maybe this is one of those movies that should go on a Blu-ray, because it's actually a really good movie. And I think this is one of those type of movies that just went under the radar, no one paid attention to, and everybody thought, oh, it's just a copy of another movie. But it really has its own good plot. It has a bunch of really good, nice special effects. Like I said, the monster suit's amazing. And even though the acting's a little off at some points and not that great, still, it kind of brings the movie together. So definitely, Within the Rock needs to come out to Blu-ray at least. Next up, we got two movies, and I'm only going to throw them in with each other because, well, they both have the same title, but they're completely different movies, and that is King of the Kickboxers. Now, there's two movies here, and one is just King of the Kickboxers, and the other one is King of the Kickboxers American Shaolin. So let's talk about the first movie. This is the first movie here, and just like all kung fu films, it's a revenge story. And it's a simple plot is that there was this martial arts guy who was badass. He's a big black dude. He can't be stopped. He's good at kickboxing, and he ends up killing the brother of this younger martial artist in a tournament. So the young martial artist, wants revenge. So then he grows up, and he ends up going to Thailand to learn real kickboxing, and he wants to learn how to fight back. And what happens is that the black dude is now this famous martial art guy who's making all these movies, but he's actually killing the people in the movies. So they hire these people as extras, and they say, hey man, you guys want to be in the movie? And they'd be like, yeah. So then this black guy comes out, and he just ends up killing them for the movie. And then they premiere the movie, and everybody's like, oh, the special effects are so great, that's awesome. But yeah, he's actually murdering them. That's why it looks so good. So the young guy finds out about this, and then he wants to be an extra, and then he ends up fighting the guy who killed his brother, and of course he wins at the end. It's an okay movie. It's not that great. I mean, I know you're probably thinking, well, what the hell? Why are you putting it on this list? And the only reason why I'm putting it on this list is because this should be in a double feature with King of the Kickboxers 2 American Shaolin. Now, this movie I like, and I don't know why I like it. This was a weird movie I saw when I was younger. I was at my grandma's house, and we were watching HBO, and this movie was on, and she told me to sit down and watch it. She said it was like The Karate Kid. And, of course, this is exactly like The Karate Kid. Young guy gets beat up in a tournament. He ends up going to a Shaolin temple to learn Kung Fu and the Shaolin way, and he actually ends up doing pretty good. But then he becomes too much involved with Shaolin, and he finds out that he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to hurt people. His mind is open. It's not about fighting and beating up and winning titles. It's just about being good to people and taking care of things. But what happens is that the guy that beat him up, that sent him to Shaolin, well, his reason for going to Shaolin, and actually comes back and calls him out on a fight. And of course, his master's like, no, this time you can fight. You have to teach this guy a lesson. Go ahead and fight. So he gets in the ring and he fights. What's cool about this is that there's a lot of Asian American actors that have been in all these Asian American movies, and they're in this movie all playing the Shaolin characters. And this is kind of cool because, the kid, he's a snobby American kid at first, and he's kind of like a jerk, and he's, really being, a dick about everything. But they teach him this lesson, and he learns. And the fighting's really cool. That's one thing I liked about this movie, is that it kind of goes to the old school Asian kung fu film. That's the way the fighting is, there's noise when they move, there's noise when they hit, and, there's all these silly, crazy moves that they do. But it's really cool. It's really fun to watch. This was another movie that I was tempted to show the kids, but I didn't, because there's some words that are in here that, kids wouldn't understand or wouldn't want to hear. So, but this movie is cool. I would pick it up if you see it. Pick this one up better than King of Kickboxers. But this definitely needs to come out to DVD. They need to put them on a 2-disc collector's edition, where the disc flips over. Side A, King of Kickboxers, Side B, King of Kickboxers 2. This really needs to come out on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't care. It needs to come out. This is a great movie. This is a movie from my childhood escaping and crash lands on this planet. And of course, it's like Earth, because duh, they can breathe. And then there's dinosaurs on the planet. Like I said, the movie's really bad. The special effects, they're okay. The dinosaurs, stop motion animation, they're not that great, but yet at the same time, they're not that bad. There's a couple of times where you can tell maybe there were mistakes, like when a dinosaur opens its mouth, its jaw seems to go to the side. The dinosaurs are usually just one color. It's really hard to see the dinosaur's eyes, but you know, they try their best. And it's a dorky movie. It's bad. It's lame. But you know what? It's a movie that I love. I would really like to see this on DVD, not Blu-ray, because I don't think Blu-ray would really capture it. But definitely on DVD. No special features, because I don't think you can really have any. I don't even think there's a trailer for this movie. But, you know, maybe you should just throw it on DVD and see what works. But definitely, this is a movie that needs to come out on DVD. Finally, the last movie, I'm going to put in a 3-volume set. But these really need to come back. I don't know if they are out there. I haven't tried looking for them. But it's the Violent Jack series. Oh yes, for you anime collectors, watch out. It's Violent Jack. Now, the funny thing about Violent Jack is that it came out twice by two different producers. One was Manga. Manga brought it out, but it was heavily censored, and I mean heavily censored, where they cut out a lot of the rape scenes, they cut out a lot of the violence, and I haven't seen them myself. I've seen a little bit pieces of them on YouTube, but I really haven't seen all of them, and Manga censored them a lot. But this is by, I think, Critical Mass, and these are uncut but still censored. What does that mean? That means that you get to see the rape scene, but they blur everything. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why would you want to see that? Well, you wouldn't want to see it unless you're into hentai, because this is pretty close to hentai. But they blur out, fuzz things out, like, you know, you don't see what's going on. Certain areas are fuzzed out completely. But this is a pretty cool story. It's by the writer Go Nagi, who came up with Devilman. And what it is of course, Tokyo, once again, disappears, falls into an apocalypse, and while the people are trying to survive, they uncover this giant, and he calls himself Jack because he carries a jackknife with him. And he goes around killing people that are bad. And in this one right here, he ends up fighting against this bad gang and this group of men who are trying to survive because they're going around terrorizing these women that live in this underground world or whatever. Really cool anime if you're into violent anime, like Geno Cyber and maybe Akira, Elfen Lied. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of killing. It's pretty cool. It's pretty tough to watch on some scenes. Well, not this one in particular, but when like looking at the second volume right here, this one was kind of hard for me to watch because there's some torture scenes that are really disturbing, and they don't hold back. They show all the violence. They just don't show any sex. So, and then the third one here, third one is kind of like I guess I would hate to say this, but it's kind of like I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Fist of the North Star ripoff. You know, there's this evil guy called the Slum King, and Violence Jack has to fight against him. But I hate this one so much because it builds up the fight, and it doesn't happen. It just ends. You don't see who wins. You don't see what goes on, and it sucks. But anyways, these are really cool DVDs, or I mean, really cool movies. Wish they would be on DVD or Blu-ray. I think this is one of those anime series that just disappeared and needs to come back. I don't know how, but it needs to come back big time. Maybe he can go to Japan and find Go Nagi and ask him himself if he wouldn't mind bringing them over there. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 10 VHS movies that I think should come to DVD or Blu-ray, whichever one it is. I say DVD first, and if that's a big hit, then bring it to Blu-ray. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any VHS movies that aren't on DVD or you haven't seen on DVD and you would like to see on DVD, go ahead, drop them off in the comment. I'll be glad to pick them up and check them out. Who knows, maybe I have them already. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope I get to see you guys again soon. Alright, bye.